7 years ago, the world as we knew it ended, not with aliens, not with nukes, but with something far stranger. An asteroid was hurtling toward Earth, and humanity did the only thing it could think of. It launched every missile it had to destroy the threat. The plan worked. The asteroid was obliterated, but the chemicals released into the atmosphere from that explosion didn't just save the planet. They changed it forever. Cold-blooded creatures, insects, reptiles, amphibians were exposed to radiation that caused them to mutate into massive, terrifying monsters. Within weeks, 95% of the human population was wiped out. The survivors did what they could, banding together into small underground colonies, hiding. This is the world Joel Dawson lives in. He's 23 years old, and like everyone else, he spent the last 7 years living below ground in a colony of survivors. But unlike most of them, Joel isn't a fighter. He's not strong, he's not brave, and every single time danger comes close, his body freezes solid. He calls it freezing up, and it's gotten him and others into trouble more than once. While his friends have learned to scavenge, fight, and survive on the surface, Joel mostly stays behind to cook for the group, the one task he's actually good at. But Joel carries something heavier than fear. Before the world fell apart, he had a girlfriend named Aimee. When the asteroid was destroyed and the monsters began to rise, Joel and Aimee got separated while trying to find shelter, and they were never reunited. For 7 long years, Joel has held onto a single working phone, the last connection to a world that doesn't exist anymore, hoping that someday it might ring. And then, against all odds, it does. Aimee is alive. She's part of another colony, 90 miles away, and she still thinks about him. That phone call changes everything for Joel. He spends his nights replaying her voice in his head, and slowly an idea begins to take root, an idea that everyone around him thinks is insane. He's going to leave the safety of the colony and travel 90 miles across monster. His friends try to talk him out of it. They remind him that he freezes at the first sign of danger, that he's never been on a real expedition, that people far more capable than him have died doing far less. But Joel has made up his mind. He'd rather die trying to reach the person he loves than spend the rest of his life safe underground, wondering what could have been. So he packs a bag, leaves a note, and steps out onto the surface for the first time in years. Almost immediately, the world reminds him exactly how dangerous it's become. The world above isn't just dangerous, it's become. The world above isn't just dangerous, it's spectacular and horrifying at the same time. Lush greenery wrapped around the bones of a civilization that used to exist, and creatures of all shapes and sizes lurking behind every tree and pond. His first encounter comes fast, a massive, slug-like creature that nearly kills him within minutes of his journey beginning. He survives only because of pure luck, and it's a brutal wake-up call. Out here, his old life skills mean nothing. If he wants to survive long enough to reach Aimee, he's going to need to change, and fast. The change starts when he meets Boy, a scrappy, clever dog who's been surviving on the surface on his own. At first, Boy is wary of Joel, but the two form an immediate bond, and Boy quickly proves to be the perfect companion for someone as inexperienced as Joel. He's loyal, sharp, and far more capable of sensing danger than Joel is. Together, they continue the journey, with Boy frequently saving Joel from threats he doesn't even notice coming. Joel's luck shifts again when he runs into two seasoned survivors, Clyde and Minnow. But after Joel proves his heart is in the right place, and after they witness just how determined he is, Clyde agrees to take him in temporarily and teach him the skills he desperately needs: how to track monsters, how to move quietly, how to read the environment for danger, and most importantly, how to stop freezing when things go wrong. He begins to realize that bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to act despite it. Eventually, Joel has to continue his journey alone, parting ways with Clyde and Minnow but carrying their lessons with him. With Boy at his side, he pushes forward, facing increasingly dangerous encounters along the way. One of the film's most thrilling sequences comes when Joel and Boy stumble into the territory of giant, venomous toads, lured in by a deceptively peaceful pond. What starts as a moment of curiosity quickly turns into a desperate scramble for survival, forcing Joel to use everything Clyde taught him just to make it out alive. Not long after, Joel discovers an underground bunker that seems abandoned. Inside, he meets Clyde and Minnow again, only this time things have changed. Clyde has been badly injured. While exploring, Joel also stumbles upon something unexpected, evidence that giant ants nearby have developed a strange, almost intelligent social structure, something that hints the post-asteroid world isn't just chaos, it's evolving in ways humanity barely understands. It's a quiet moment of wonder in the middle of a survival story, a reminder that this new world, as dangerous as it is also alive with mystery. Tragedy strikes when Clyde succumbs to his injuries. His death hits Joel hard, not just because he's lost a friend and mentor, but because it forces him to step up in a way he never has before. Minnow, now without the only family she has left, looks to Joel, and he makes the decision to see her safely to a nearby colony before continuing on toward Aimee, refusing to abandon her the way the world has abandoned so many people already. Getting Minnow to safety isn't easy. The two face one of the film's most intense encounters when they're forced to navigate a lake dominated by a massive, prehistoric-looking crab-like creature. It's a tense, white-knuckle sequence that tests everything Joel has learned. But he pulls through, proving to himself and to Minnow that he's no longer the same person who left his colony weeks earlier. Once Minnow is safely delivered to her new home, Joel says goodbye and continues the final leg of his journey toward Aimee. Quanadintu is the final. As Joel gets closer to his destination, the story takes a turn that complicates everything. He learns that the colony he's heading to isn't simply a peaceful refuge. Through a radio transmission, Joel discovers that Aimee's colony is being targeted by giant mutated insects, and that the leader of her colony has actually been provoking the creatures, manipulating their behavior in dangerous and reckless ways, without the rest of the survivors realizing what's happening. It's a gut-punch revelation, suggesting that even now, even after the apocalypse, human ambition and carelessness can still create disaster. Determined to warn them and to finally reunite with Aimee, Joel pushes to the last and most dangerous stretch of his journey. He and Boy face brutal, high-stakes encounters with the very monsters the colony has been provoking, fighting not just to survive, but to reach the people who need to hear the truth before it's too late. When Joel finally arrives at Aimee's colony, the reunion is everything he's hoped for and feared all at once. Aimee is overjoyed to see him, stunned that he actually made the journey, but the moment is immediately overshadowed by the looming threat outside. The mutated insects attack the colony in force, and what follows is an explosive, high-energy battle for survival. Joel, the same young man who once froze at the smallest sign of danger, now finds himself at the center of the fight, using every skill Clyde taught him, every ounce of courage he's built over the journey, to protect the people around him. It's the ultimate test of how far he's come, and he rises to meet it, working alongside Aimee and the rest of the colony to fight back against the creatures and put an end to the threat. Reuniting with Aimee after everything he's been through, he realizes that the two of them have changed in ways that don't necessarily fit back together the way they used to. The boy who left his colony for her sake and the man who arrives at hers are not quite the same person. Their reunion is heartfelt, but it's also honest, both of them acknowledging that the connection they once had may not be what either of them needs now. Rather than ending the story with a simple romantic reunion, the film takes a more meaningful turn. Joel realizes that his journey was never really about getting back to who he used to be. It was about discovering who he could become. Instead of settling back into the life he had before, Joel makes the choice to keep moving forward, to use everything he's learned, his new courage, his new skills, his new sense of purpose, to help others and to keep exploring this dangerous, ever-changing world. In the end, Joel reunites with Clyde's dog boy permanently by his side and sets off again, no longer the frightened boy who froze at the first sign of trouble, but someone who's learned that real strength isn't about avoiding fear. It's about facing it again and again until you become someone capable of surviving and even thriving in a world that's done everything it can to break you. The story closes not with an ending, but with a beginning. Joel stepping forward into the unknown, ready for whatever comes next.